Welcome to the Infinite Creative Podcast. My name is Fitz, and we got here.
My name is Sean. Everybody?
Yeah, well, we're starting off the episode really hot and heavy here. We got a very interesting topic. What is it, Sean?
Well, today we're talking about prompts and why we need to get better at prompts. And some good words, some good uses. Set the stage, man.
Yeah, so basically, I'm the perfect example why prompts matter. And yeah, let me explain what a prompt is first off. It is basically a question. You have a question and you have to describe the problem in a very efficient way. And then you will get a very good answer if you do a good job with your prompt. Because like AI is there like humans, and you're basically be the boss of a machine, and you're like, hey, I want exactly this. And if you're too vague, you get a very, very vague answer. And that will be usually like, oh, ChatGPT 3 is not that good. ChatGPT 4 is not that good. But there is a night and day difference. If you write the perfect prompt, you will basically get the perfect answers. There's like good examples where people bootstrap a whole business and run a whole company in like 24 hours and getting evaluated for 200K or something like that. I don't know if you hear this, Sean. But yeah, there's some good examples and like some mind-boggling examples how they use ChatGPT 3. And the only limitation is basically you. Like how well do you phrase the prompt and what is actually your question. So today we're basing everything around like prompts and how to be better at them. Yeah, Sean, yeah, so let's jump right into it. Oh,
that was good. No, that was really good. To give everyone some kind of background context too, we've done past episodes. We have done a mid-journey episode, so definitely go check that out. That kind of gives a good outlook of kind of some of our experimentations. That's more of a visual-based kind of AI. As my compadre just said, we're going to be really talking a lot about GPT, but, what's going to be really funny is we're going to see new tools coming out, so much more coming forward. So, but for today, we're kind of using that, but as of this video, I mean, there's like hundreds of AI tools already out there.
Yeah, but that brings me back for something that I forgot. Like, you will hear now ChatGPT 3, AI software, 200 softwares are coming out, everybody has one, and everything is evolving. Why do I need to learn that? It is a basic skill now, and actually that skill is also so relevant just in general if you communicate with somebody else. Like, if I communicate with Sean and I'm like, I cannot really describe what I want or what I want to, hey, this is my idea, and I don't communicate that correctly, he's like, I kind of get it, but I don't really get it. And all the AI softwares, all the people you communicate with, it's kind of the same thing. If you set it up the right way, this is a very, very universal skill. And I think this will be the skill that will shape the future. So you got to be like on point with prompts because this is everything.
100%. It's like understanding the logic of the internet, right? Like we all understand that Command or Control Z means undo, or we just know the kind of logic we've been taught so we can do the internet really well. This is just a new kind of language, a new type of logic. So it's a new
internet. Like if you think about it, like
100%.
You had to learn how to Google, and that's like, oh yeah, I can figure anything and everything out if I Google and I just look through pages and search for stuff. Now it's not anymore. I have to Google. Now it's like I have to write the perfect question for the perfect scenario so that this answer I'm getting from that AI is matching my scenario.
Yeah, and framing the question has been here since really Google, of if you can type up the question correctly, you'll get the right response. And so to jump into it, I'll just quickly flash this for anyone out there that wants to use this. This ChatGPT is free to use by the public. All you have to do is go to openai.com. They have a little button right here to try ChatGPT. Click that, and you're going to get access to the same tools we're going to talk about today. They have GPT-4, which right now you do have to pay for to have access to, I believe, or at least have developer access. And so today we're going to use kind of the free version. But what's crazy is the free version is good enough. So I think it's
crazy good.
So it's a good way for us to kind of play with some of the kind of things we're going to talk about today. So one thing to think about when you're writing a prompt is that the prompt is made out of what's referred to as tokens. And so tokens essentially are just a metric for how much does the AI remember about your question. So for example, if I ask, list all the types of dogs in the world. This is not using very many tokens, are essentially words. And so if I do that, what it's going to do now is it's going to go through and it's actually going to list all of these. So it's able to give me a very long answer because I gave it a very short question. Now, if I had given it a very long question, it wouldn't be able to give me such a long answer. Now, what's interesting about this, as you can already see, is it's not just giving me all of the types in the world. It's actually also breaking it down for me automatically.
What is very nice.
Yeah, and enlisting it. And it looks like, yeah.
So this is actually kind of not what I really want, because right now it would be kind of good to showcase like a bad example. This is a good example because you wrote a really good question that can be like, be easy summarized and is very specific. So you actually did a very good question, name all the dog breeds of the world, and it is easy to break down, it's easy to summarize, and you had a specific question. If you have like a vague question with less tokens, can you make a bad example, like ask something not so specific? And so let's ask something else that's kind of similar to that. So let's say, what is dog breed? Yeah.
So now so instead of actually giving whatever that breed would be in this case, it's just going to define what dog breed means. And so if you don't give it any context, it's just going to be like, okay, well, the two words you gave me, this is what the definition of it is.
Yeah.
So that would maybe be a bad use. Let me see. Let me think of it.
Oh, I have a good one. Like, so this is like a thing I'm struggling with, because like now you feel like, okay, I have AI at my hands and I can achieve anything and everything. Theoretically, you can, but let's say I want to make $100,000. What do I need to do?
Okay.
Yeah, just it is very specific, but also very broad. Now you have to think about, like, the AI does not know the circumstances. The AI does not know anything about you, and it will be like give you like some vague answers that are not related to you, really, and you cannot do anything with that.
Yeah, so in this case, it's giving you, it says it's hard to give you specific steps because it doesn't understand your current situation. And so it's giving you kind of very generalized steps of, pursue a high-paying career, which you and I already have, start a business, which you and I already have, invest in stocks and real estate.
Oh, we got that crypto going.
Exactly. Develop in-demand skills, which we definitely have, and then work hard and be persistent, which we do every day. But it doesn't give you, but it's not giving you that exact roadmap, right? You're like, I want the right answer, but it's if you're not specific enough, if you don't give enough context. Now, in this case, let's try something else based on what you just said. So another thing that you can do with AI is very interesting is you can tell it to wear a certain hat, which is really cool. So in this case, I'm going to tell it that it's
successful.
It's a media mogul, and that it's successful. And what advice would it give to make $100,000? So you are a media mogul, billionaire, let's say. What is your advice to make $100,000 this year?
Or through social media or whatever.
So let's see. So this case, it didn't take the media mogul. Sometimes it won't actually understand what you're giving it. So in this case, I gave it too kind of weird of a hat to wear. But still, it was interesting. It kind of gave you things that were based off kind of what a media mogul would tell you. Things like leverage technology, focus on customer satisfaction, seek partnerships and collaboration. So in this case, it didn't really work. So let me make it more simple, the hat I would give it. So you are a scientist. How would someone make $100,000 with science? So let's see. So
it's all about the sponsorships that you get from the companies where you write your science papers wrong.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, like, so I think, like, as soon as you involve like this type of question, I think like that is we're still doing like a bad question here, because like of the 100,000, and there's like billions and millions of ways how to do it, and we have to be like, when you write a question or a prompt, you have to be way more specific. So the best thing you can do is like basically break down a problem, and let's say, how do I start a company? What are the 7 steps, or what steps are needed to start a company? And then you will get different steps. And then you have to type, again, for each step, you have to type a specific question in that is relevant for you. And I think like that is like a really good example too. For example, after we get the steps that it recommends, because you can ask unlimited questions, but it's very powerful. Like ChatGPT 3 and 4 is capable of being like finishing the bar exam, and I think ChatGPT 3 is in the so let's go with like step number 1. Can you elaborate on step number 1? Identify business ideas. So let's say I identify a business idea. So what are good business ideas for, or what are highly profitable business ideas? Ask that, because...
And what's even more interesting is, instead of saying even that, you can say, based on your previous response, so you don't even have to restate the question a lot of the time. Based on your previous response, based on the first step in your previous response, please elaborate on good business ideas.
Well, what are typical good business ideas? Because it will search like out of its knowledge, like what were successful ideas, and then you get like, oh, can you list the top 3 of the best business ideas in like the areas or the market? So you can really redefine like the problem till you get like a specific answer. But it is really hard to basically get like a really good answer in the beginning, but you can really dive into it.
And what's interesting about this too, what I like about it is it does something better than what Google would do. So you ask something at Google, it doesn't say that you're asking the wrong question, which is really great. I actually love that it's like, well, you haven't really defined what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And that's really important, right? I mean, there's so many times we just go to Google and we don't even know what the heck we're actually searching for. And so it's cool that...
But you're right with that, and I really like that. But now we have like a list of things. Now you can theoretically think what resonates really good with me, you know? And like if I go into e-commerce stores, okay, we want to build an e-commerce business. What do I have to do? And then you can basically redefine the question. So there's like prompts that are like a whole page long. Like our prompts are right now just like 1 or 2 sentences. What is like not really a lot of input, but you could really dive in, write out like a really elaborated business idea. Let's go into that, and I think we should write a prompt about like let's start a business, e-commerce business that makes 100 grand, and what is needed for that, for example, and then write as much as you can about those.
And to a degree, when he says as much as you can, yet again, you only have 4,000 tokens. So if you use 4,000 words, then you're not going to get a big answer. So that would be my one caveat about writing more. But so what is needed to start a successful e-commerce business? Break down into steps. As well as real-world example.
Imagine just use now like maybe some so that it wears the e-commerce hat, because like we could have added on. You know, this is still like a 2-sentence answer now. You know, and there's a difference if you go more into specifics, basically. Because now we could have done the niche too, like we're e-commerce with a niche, and if we combine, like, let's say, okay, how do I start an e-commerce business that is in the niche of fitness, that blah 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 blah, and then you give examples, you know.
And so exactly. So what's really cool is like for each of these things too, you can kind of build different things to explain it. So let's say I get all of this. Let's say I copied this even from another website, right? And I need this to be summarized. This is kind of already like too much. It's too big. And so I need all of this information to be summarized into just a few different points, right? So what I do is I go like this. I do TL, and then I do a semicolon, and I think I do DR. Let me look really quickly here.
Text too long, don't read.
Text long, don't read. Exactly. And in theory, this should now summarize it. This down to something just a little bit more shorter and palatable. So for everyone out there too, understanding these commands, you saw that a lot in the Midjourney episode, that if you understand TL, semicolon DR, I could literally copy and paste long pieces of text, put it in here, and instead of being a long thing, please summarize this text, X, Y, and Z, you just do TL, semicolon DR, boom, it's already doing it. So understanding those things and becoming a power user of those things is going to be incredibly important. I think in the future, the interface of AI isn't going to be you and I typing. It's not going to be about prompts. But if we can understand the logic of how that all works now, I think it's really important.
Yeah, I'm currently working
over there.
Yeah, I'm currently working on like a longer business thing. So, do you have like?
Are you ready to share your screen? And share
not yet. Can you carry on for a little bit, because I want to make it very, very specific and very, very long so that we can see the difference. Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. So I'm going to move on to a couple things, and we'll kind of check back in with you in a second here. So, yeah. So let's. I want to give some kind of use cases for this. So I've kind of created some stuff ahead of time. So you can also create your arguments with AI, which is really incredible. So in this case, I asked, can you argue the importance of AI for K through 12 education from multiple diverse perspectives? So in this case, it's going to give me multiple perspectives of that argument. And then before you do so, I say, state the characteristics of each of these characters. So if I put that in, let's see what it starts to generate here. And so first, it's looking at the perspective of the students in this argument. Then it's giving me the perspective of teachers. Then giving me what the parents' perspective is. Giving me the perspective of the administrators for the school. And now it gives some of the arguments for the importance of it. So the student says that AI can personalize the learning experience. Teachers say AI can automate routine tasks. The parents like it because AI can help prepare students for the future workforce. Administrators like it because it can help make data-driven decisions. Now, what's interesting about this is I can simply now say, how would you disarm this argument? So let's say you wanted to see who someone that was going to argue against you would say. You literally just type this in, and it's going to create a counter-argument. And so it's pretty incredible that you can literally create an argument just by using AI. You can already see what the other side is going to say to kind of counter this. So in this case, to disarm the argument that AI can personalize learning experiences and help students learn at their own pace, one potential counter argument could be that personalized learning does not always result in improved academic outcomes. And so, it's really interesting. So that's just another use case of AI, right? Is you can kind of create this kind of debate, and you can also break things down into perspectives and people, which is really useful for a designer who is coming into a branding experience or even a website, is defining those kind of use cases and audiences.
Yeah.
So check back in. Are you ready?
I think I'm ready. So I'm now very curious. Let me share the screen, and I want to Windows. There we go. So this is now what I came up with. So I came up with, imagine you're a successful fitness instructor who wants to build a business that is e-commerce, that is focused on virtual products. My goal is to sell a virtual course, and I need help with the course that I offer. So my English is obviously not that perfect, but the grammar is wrong too, but all that does not really matter. But basically I'm stating like, hey, I'm a fitness instructor, hey, I have followers, and I want to sell a course, and I'm not knowing what the course should be like, and I need like step-by-step information. So let's see if it even understands this terrible English that I just wrote there. Sure, I'll be happy to help you. Additionally, provided, I also asked ChatGPT free to ask me questions. Additionally, could you provide more information of what type of virtual product you are looking to create? Would it be video-based course, an ebook, or a mobile app, or something else entirely? So let's say, because I basically put a question into my in my prompt, it will ask me now to be more specific, what is very powerful. So like, if you're not really sure what you want, or if you give enough information, just ask ChatGPT free to ask you if there's more information needed. And here is it, and it asks me, it will be a video course. Yes, it will be a video course, because I like doing video course, and I'll say course, and my followers are advanced in fitness. What would be a good course? And I do have, let's say, 10,000 followers, and I would like to make at least a good amount of money. This is very vague, but so here we go. Now we're getting a detailed course on like.
Yep, so it's breaking it down to the title, giving you an overview, now breaking it down into different modules, our widgets, as we like to call it in the business design world. Giving you different modules for this entire thing. So it's pretty cool. It's breaking things down.
And mind you, I did not really provide a lot. I don't even have a following. I'm a fitness guy, you know. Now I would go down, okay, I got the course. It's a video course that I'm selling. It's for advanced fitness people. What would be a good price? What would be a good price if I make this a video course? I want to charge not too much, but not too little. My followers are relatively wealthy. I misspelled everything. Whatever. It will understand, even if you make typos, it will still understand what you want. So it's like kind of like if you hear me speaking and you hear I have an accent, I'm foreign, the writing is wrong, but you kind of get what I'm coming for. And here we go. You still can go deeper and deeper on that course, and you basically can build out all the missing things that you need for whatever aspect. And I think this is incredible.
Yeah, so I think, a lot of people that watch our podcast are creatives out there, right? So if you're not already using this tool for your creativity, you really should start. And one of the best places that I think this can help you start is at the brainstorming phase. I think when you get a new client, so let's say you get a client who's into fitness, for example, you have to make a website for them. What a great place to start to put in something in here to be like, educate me about the setting of fitness or the world of fitness, and what are the key, not necessarily the key words, but what are the key parts of the fitness world, and it'll tell you. So and even like when you're thinking about like names of things, it's such a great thing to have it come up with 10, 20, 30 names in a row that you maybe wouldn't have thought of. So it's a great tool to like help you at least get the creative juices flowing, and that all starts with having the right prompts and kind of understanding how this is all structured. So there's a lot of use cases we can kind of roll through, but I think the biggest thing is going to be understanding just exactly what you want in an answer, and then also being able to kind of collect these things and then have it kind of be refed into it, if that makes sense. So later, as you learn these things, if later you have to come back to AI, being able to take the stuff you learned, copy and pasting it back into the AI, and have it kind of keep moving forward with that information. I think that stuff's really important. And yeah, it's just one of those things that I think all of this is going to get regulated a lot more, and there's going to be a lot more tightening up of this over time. But right now we're kind of in a perfect phase where you can use these tools to answer a ton of questions.
Yeah, and I think like the psychology behind this prompt making is really like, what do you want? How do you break it down? How you describe the situation you're in, and basically get like first like a game plan going. Like break it down into steps. What do I have to do to get X, Y, and Z? And then if you still have problems or the problem is not well defined, you have to rework your prompt, because like I saw like prompts that are like a page long and they are working like a charm, because like you could say, yes, there's a 4,000 character limit or a word prompt limit on it, but sometimes if you write the wrong prompt, it will confuse the AI and it gets like too convoluted, or it's not specific enough, or it's just like not working well with each other. But if you write a perfect prompt that is working in a good chain together and it makes sense, it gets like the specific answer. But if you write a long prompt that is not making sense with like the beginning or the middle or the end, it will fall apart kind of, because then it's like fighting with itself, like, oh, he wanted that, but you're saying now this. So that can be an issue.
And so to get around the tokens, the 4,000 tokens rule, because let's say you're an app developer and you have a document that has billions of pieces of code in it, and you'd like to put it all into Chat GPT and have it find things that are wrong in your code, but you have that limit. Well, the thing that's going to start to become a reality, and is a reality with GPT-4, is that you can connect repositories to the AI. And so what I mean by that is I could stick the AI on my website, for example, which is a ton of code, ton of text, tons of stuff, and have it actually run through it and find the errors for me. So I think, do I think prompts are going to be like this even a year or two down the road? Probably not. I think we already seeing in new technologies is it's going to interface with you a lot more easily. Yeah. But I think understanding, though, the logic, yet again, kind of what Fitz was saying earlier, of that you need to give it enough to be able to give you the right answer. And so if you're not getting the right answer spit out, then that means you need to define the question better. And what's funny is AI could probably help you do that too, really. Yeah. Just put in the prompt and ask them, how would you improve this prompt?
Yeah. The only thing is, like, it's not really logical thinking, It will just write out what would be the right answer for the set problem. So you have to understand that too. Like, if I say, for example, let's share the screen and I'm asking questions I should not ask. Let's go onto the screen, share. Can you do my taxes? Oh, there was a spelling error. So now it's like saying, I am not capable of doing taxes, But, so how would I do personal taxes? Well, or would I do my own how can you break down how to make my taxes? What sorry, I'm like thinking and writing. It's not good for me as a foreigner. How do you file taxes? Do you file taxes as a single person in Florida? It will still give me like the whole answer, and it will break it down now. And you could file your taxes like that, even though the first question was bad, Now it's getting, you still can get around any limitations theoretically if you ask a specific question because it knows the answer. What is like kind of scary if you think about it. Like now it's telling me like, oh, you have to file the taxes before this, how to file. And now I could write, how do you fill out a W-2 form? And you can get really, really specific. On the end, it always tells you, hey, you should consider hiring a professional, what you definitely should do, because like they will take more, they know more in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'll just say a hard stop. They know more, not in a way. They definitely know more. I mean, that's the funny thing is I think people are very quick to throw the professions out and just grab onto these things. Not as good as professional. AI is not to that level. Will it be someday? Potentially, for sure. What's really interesting too is that OpenAI behind ChatGPT has invested in like 3 major robotics companies. So that's got to tell you what does their future look like, right? It's going to be interfacing you using AI. So So these things are going to be more just a plethora all around every single industry. And I think what's going to be really interesting is right now we can only do text questions, text prompts, but there's going to be visual prompts. Those are right around the corner. You could actually probably put a tax form, take a picture of it, and say, can you guide me through how to do a tax form? And I could see a future version of AI literally having a thing where it's like going step by step and actually visually showing you the steps to go through the tax form.
I mean, it is trained on everything we know, so you can ask anything we know, like even like whatever the accountant learns, ChatGPT 3 knows. But you have to ask the specific questions, and you have to know what do you need to know, because you can ask the wrong question, will get the wrong answer, and you don't know what the wrong answer is if you file your taxes. That's why you need the professional.
And so what gets really interesting and gets really kind of scary for us creatives is there's something else it can do as well. And it's not just logical things, right? Is that it can be creative. And that's kind of where things get a little crazy, right? So if I tell it to write a haiku about creative podcasts.
What is a haiku?
So a haiku is a very short Asian poem that's usually broken into 2 words, 3 words, or it's like 2, 3, 4 or something like that. But imagination soars, podcasts fuel creativity, a muse in my ear. So it literally created that. So now it's using different things and putting it together, but I think that's where the AI really gets interesting for me, is that it can be creative, that I could tell it to write a fictional story about a toaster going to France, and it'll write me a short fictional story about a toaster going to France. So very interesting kind of where those bounds start to be as well, where you can really start to use these things to create ideas. And for me, it's yet again, I think at the beginning of the process, why not, right? If you have to go into a project and you have to have cool ideas, why not start with AI and have it start to at least create the starting place for you? I think so it's going to be a tool that we're all going to use as creatives, but yeah, definitely a destabilizing tool.
So here's also another couple of things that you can do with prompts, like because AI is very versatile, you can do a lot of things with it. You actually can brainstorm ideas. That was the first thing that we mentioned. Then you also can get advice from different perspective. Like if you want to get advice from Elon Musk, it basically knows everything Elon Musk wrote on the internet, theoretically, to a degree if it was public or not. And it can summarize the view of that person and give you advice from that perspective. What is very interesting. So you can get advice, you can get market research too, you can get research in general, because it's all the data it was trained on. So it's basically trained on everything we have on the internet till 2022. So that's where, while Sean was saying it does not know more than the tax accountant, it does know everything. But you have to use it the right way, what people will not do. And you can really mess things up if you're like, let's say, give me medical advice. It will give you medical advice if you ask very specifically, but it's probably bad advice to take because you don't know the whole situation. The AI, it's really easy to write a wrong prompt for like, give me tax advice, give me legal advice, give me whatever. That's why you need a professional, because they will take into account like who you are, what you do, what is the whole situation, and they will analyze your questions way better than the AI, because they are trained on that, but they're only trained on that specific. Also, what I really like about like AI is like you can basically learn with AI, and basically like, let's say you want to learn for a course or a project or whatever, you can break down things and be like, give me questions on said topic, and basically summarize it. But you have to write a really good prompt, because it will go back to like, hey, I'm not a professional, I cannot help you with it, but you can be like, hey, can you break down, let's say, a page of the FAA for like flight training, whatever, and ask me questions about this page, and it will ask you questions from this page. What is very powerful if you want to learn something. As we also said, like you can ask like meta prompts and ask like, how would you write a prompt? Give me an example.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's true. You could ask it, what is its tips on writing a prompt, and what's its tips on using it, for example. It'll tell you. And this is just GPT for everyone out there. This is free. This is for the public right now. GPT-4 has come out. I think one thing, I'll actually go ahead and share this, but I'll just talk over it. So they came out with their little ad. It's only 3 minutes long, so I'm just going to play it kind of in the background here.
I think we also don't have sound, so we have to summarize it for the audio people just in case.
Yeah, so we will a little bit. I'm not going to say it kind of word by word here, but yeah. Do you still see it, by the way, when I did that?
Yeah. They have the captions. Perfect. God bless YouTube. Captions are very powerful.
So the idea that it can help you. So here it is again. Here's a haiku. So it can create these kind of advanced, sophisticated things. So what's interesting is Chat GPT 4. I'll kind of pause on this. So the word limit we just talked about is down here, and the word limit for GPT 4 is 25,000. So as you can already see, it's going to get to this point where it's limitless, where we'll probably be able to copy and paste a whole novel into this software, and it'll be able to do everything we need.
Yeah. I like that example because it really highlights with the question that they ask, what would happen if you will cut the strings of that balloons? It will understand if you cut the strings, the balloons fly away. What is very, very interesting to tell.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of this visual level of intelligence. So what they're going to kind of talk about here too is that it's only been training for about a year. And it's getting to this point where it's already incredibly powerful. It's used a lot in coding already. I've already used it on a few coding problems myself, and it's kind of insanely good for coding. Yeah,
I think your audio is also a little bit quiet, Sean. Just a little heads up.
Okay.
It changed. But yeah, with the coding, that is also a big topic because there's people who are right now uploading apps to the Apple Store, or the App Store on Apple, and they have games on there. You can make easy games with ChatGPT free if you can break down your problem fast enough or good enough. What is kind of crazy.
Exactly. Yeah, so can it do it all? No, but can it fit into all the spaces that you need in the project? Yeah, definitely. And here it's kind of talking about its uses for education, which I think is going to be huge. I mean, the fact that this can kind of be your personal assistant in learning things is really cool. I mean, I'm already thinking of maybe, there's a day where I literally have ChatGPT always open on a monitor, and I'm literally always pushing stuff to it, so it's helping me learn stuff. So and the fact that it is already integrated with Bing and it's already integrating with search engines is really interesting because, as you start to search your questions in these kind of search engines, is it going to be able to kind of help create this environment for you to learn things even quicker than you are now?
Yeah. What is also... That is also a really good topic. If you can write the right prompt to learn faster and what really works with you, we have audio issues.
Do we?
Yeah, your mic is doing weird stuff.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. It's I don't know what happened. Because you got quiet and then it was making some squeaky noises now.
Is it still making it right now?
Now you sound completely different.
Okay. In a good way or a bad way? We're in the middle of the podcast. Is it good?
Yeah, I can cut it out. It sounds worse than the beginning. Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. So, let me stop sharing. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. It sounds like your regular microphone from the laptop or whatever it is.
Really?
Yeah. Can you tap on the mic?
Okay, now you should hear me, right? Are we good now?
Tap the mic.
Yeah, I'm tapping. Can you hear it now?
Yeah. It's fine.
Can you not hear it?
I can hear it. It's it's okay. I'm not sure if it's directly the mic because I don't hear you moving the mic. So I think it...
Oh, now it's dropped out. But you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's fine. I will boost it or figure it out in post.
Is this common? Is this just because I don't know?
It starts happening nowadays. It's maybe your cable. Can you move your cable on the back of the microphone? test.
No, man.
Yeah.
This is all expensive equipment, so this isn't working. I don't know what to say.
Yeah, just weird. Yeah. Either way.
All right. So, can you hear it though? Are you good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Finish this. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. So I would say that kind of wraps up kind of all the talking about prompts. It was kind of a little bit of a shallow dive. I think there's lots of videos out there for people to definitely watch if you want to kind of get these deeper dives on how to write these prompts. But what I would suggest people is start writing them today and start trying to find ways to kind of fit it into your workflow. For me, it's brainstorming. I think I'm using them kind of all the time now for the brainstorming part. How about you, Fitz?
Yeah.
What are you using them for?
So I feel like that is like an exercise thing. Like you said, like, the more you exercise, the better you are. And I right now experiment a little bit with it. Like you saw, like when I wrote the instruction from the trainer, I'm very inspired by those prompts. There's like some really good prompts out there. And it's the best thing we can actually do is like read good prompts. So you get a good idea what is a good prompt, what is a basic prompt, and it's really like a thing that you cannot like basically skim on, because it's like really powerful if you write a good prompt. And obviously there's like limitations to the AI, and you have to be aware of it. Like I said, like if you ask the wrong question, you get a limited answer, and it will tell you, I cannot give you advice for this. But if you phrase it a little bit differently, or just go into the topics, you can get the answers and think for yourself like, oh, this means I should do this and that, because it can give you the answers that you need, but you maybe miss something. So you have to be really careful with that, because with the right prompts, you get the right answers, but you don't know what the right prompt is sometimes. And you have to really ask, because the more you ask and the more prompts you do, the more answers you will get, and you can kind of fill in the puzzle of what is missing,
Yeah, and the only thing I would add to that too is just be safe with the type of information you're getting from the AI and using it. Sometimes there is still factually wrong information that this AI gives you. So everything with a grain of salt, at least now. I think everything we talk about, is this going to get better? Yes, I think it's going to get exponentially better, where there's going to be almost no wrong answers eventually. But I've had a few prompts where I've actually gotten the wrong answer. So I'd always say that too with everyone is kind of take the responses with a grain of salt. Always check it if it's important data you're getting from the AI. So if you're getting something that is very important, like legal advice or things like that, always check with someone else. That would be kind of my next piece of advice.
Yeah. Also, like if you write something in there, sometimes you have to read it, and then you see like, oh, it gets something completely wrong, and you did not catch it because you did not read it completely. So I use Chat GPT free right now for my emails. I'm like, hey, send me a friendly email for this person. I want to get this and that, and please make it in that tone, yada yada yada. It does an amazing job, but sometimes it misunderstands like the whole like, oh, you're asking for something, or it mixes things up. But as long as you read it, you can catch it. So that is like, you have to be careful with it though.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it's really, giving it context, giving it the information, also giving it exceptions. If you want it to not talk about things, we didn't talk about that too much, but if you want it to not bring up things, definitely put that in there as well. And I think it's one of those things that once you kind of get the hang of it, it'll help your flow. We've talked about Notion AI before, and in a future podcast, I definitely want to talk about Adobe Firefly. Where now we're already seeing these tools kind of inching into the usual workflows that we're all used to. So I definitely am excited. Still scared, I guess, of how easy it's going to be to do things.
Yeah, so that is also like a good thing too, because like there's like that AI software called Adobe Podcast, what will fix any audio issues that you have, and it will give you like what the AI thinks is good sounding sound file. It is really powerful to still know what you're doing, so you can do actually the thing and it's right. And how do you get your set result that you want? Because sometimes the AI will do something that you don't want, and you would be better off doing it yourself. And that's where it comes in, knowing what you're doing, and maybe talking to a professional, because they maybe can do exactly what you want because they have the skills. We're right now losing all the skills that AI is providing us for free. Me not being able to write correctly is kind of like iffy, so yeah, and I think the biggest thing will always be connecting all these tools. So always think of yourself as someone that can connect the different AIs, right? So
And I don't think there's ever going to be an omnipresent AI that does it all. Maybe there will be someday, but yeah, at least you as a person get better at how can you use different AIs in all the different things that you do, and how can they all kind of help your mission and what you want to do. So yeah, so I think yeah, it's been a good episode. I think this one is a little bit more informational, just kind of jumping right into the prompts, man. So I guess to just kind of tap this out, man, what's your hopes with AI in this year? What's kind of your goals in using AI?
Yeah, like I said, like I try to consume a lot of like content where I'm like, how do I write the right prompt? Because like ChatGPT free got like kind of handicapped since people were abusing it too much, you know. And there's also like now that Llama that got released. It's basically ChatGPT free in a small packaged version that you can download onto your PC and basically train your own AI. But that also means there's no limitations on it. So I'm like, so it would be kind of cool to have your own personalized trained AI that you use for your own uses, because like ChatGPT 3 is good and 4 is even better, and 4.5 is already out, I think, and they're training it, but the public does not really have like easy access. So yeah, I think it's going in a good way, but I just need to experiment way more and do way more, because like this is where the money is made this year or the next couple of years, and yeah. That's how I see it.
And with everyone out there, you know, especially those who are visual creatives, people that make apps or make games, definitely check out Stable Diffusion. That's free and open to the public, and free and open for developers to create their own tools and stuff that's using that AI. So if you want to create your own AI-driven tool or app or game, yet again, that's Stable Diffusion. I've looked in it a little bit, and
that's on my to-do list too.
How some people are already combining that into the web design world is kind of interesting. But you know, there's lots of money to be made right now if you're willing to kind of roll up your sleeves and learn something new with this. For me, I'm just trying to build a business using AI as a helping tool. So that's been kind of my biggest thing for this year, is just using AI to help build out this business more and more and more. And it's so crazy. I'm already doing so much better in the last few months just from doing things like building checklists and templates for things, and it's just been amazing. So I think, yeah, just having AI help drive that more, that's going to be the biggest thing for me this year.
Yeah. Also, like, really important, getting clarity about what you want to do, and AI can help you in tremendous ways. Like, it can break down anything and everything. And like I said, the data set of ChatGPT 3 and 4 is like whatever we know to this point. So it's the most sophisticated piece of technology that humanity ever done. What was like a really cool description that somebody did on a different podcast. I forgot which one it was, but basically it knows everything. What is crazy to imagine, it nearly knows everything that humanity knows. But we know a lot of dumb shit. So there's like, I think there was like a rogue AI out there for a rogue ChatGPT 3 where it's like giving just crazy conspiracy theories and stuff like that. Obviously, it's not true, but it knows all the bad stuff too. What is like interesting, what it comes up with. So yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, humans built the internet, and AI feeds off of the internet. So yeah, it's just straight up a bridge from our brain to the AI. So yeah, it's going to get the good, it's going to get the bad, and yeah, it's going to be an interesting world. We can all agree on that. But yeah, I think it's hopeful. I think it's good. You know, internet was scary when it first came out, and people didn't understand it, and I think this is the same. So.
Yeah.
But it'll be interesting, you know, as the robotics, things like that start to roll out, that's where it's going to be interesting, because this AI, right now we're interfacing it with typing words. So right now we're in 1987 in the .com world, where we're typing in command lines and stuff to open up programs. That's where we are right now in this. So think 20 years in the future.
I think even like the 20 years is kind of weird too, because like if you think about it, I see it as like it's a Tesla. You know, it is capable of self-driving, but we do not trust it. That's why we have like certain things in there, because it still messes up sometimes. You know, ChatGPT 4 is already like in the top 10 of the bar exam, like if it takes the test, what is crazy. So that makes it better than most lawyers, but obviously you cannot use it for that right now because we don't trust it. And the ChatGPT 5, I don't want to know if it's like even like in the in the top 10 or in the top 3.
Yeah, but you're going to see AI just, I think, leak into society in such a big way. I mean, one of the big ways, I was talking to my friend the other night, is sports, right? We still have referees that can throw a whole Super Bowl because they make the wrong call. Why do we not already have AI making that call?
Politicians. That's what we really need.
I'm sure it's already being used in elections now, where you have AI already crawling the opponent's stuff and coming up with advice for, like, right before a debate, even like literally minutes before the debate, you could have an AI like, oh crap, she just put this out, do this actually, and you're like,
yeah, and you're all like, she said what? Okay, let's say this is a good counter. It is crazy. Yeah, well,
yeah, it's like AI is our little fairy in the bottle that we all have now. We all have this little AI kind of assistant, and just like we were talking about today, if you can get really good at educating and talking and communicating to that assistant, it'll just blow you out of proportion of where you could be in a year or two.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Things are evolving very, very, very fast. Like the last 2 months were like, okay, I think like 500 tools or whatever came out with AI. Everything has AI now, Bing, whatever, Adobe. Everybody's trying to implement the technology. We're probably going way, way, way too fast, but the future is wild. So yeah, that's me. I'm out. How about you, Sean?
The future is wild. I agree. The future is wild. I'm excited. Just like I've always thought of as a creative, I'm going to think about this of how can I break the box on this? How can I break the mold, and how can I push these tools to the brink? So just like a crayon box I got in kindergarten, that's how I'm viewing AI now. How can I blow it out of proportion and blow it out of the roof? So for everyone out there, thank you for liking, subscribing. Thank you for buying coffee mugs. Thank you for all the love. We appreciate it. And keep tuning in to the Creative Infinite podcast.
Have a good one.